just like dig your heels in and roll up your sleeves and put on the full armor of God, like the Bible says, and that means like getting his word and nourishing yourself with good news and hope. And also, don't forget that there are so many people that are waking up right now, and there's so many people that are working for good. And if you look at the news, like Satan wants you to think that he's winning, but it's a lie. It's an illusion. Yes, there are evil things happening, but there are a lot of good things happening. And there's a lot of warriors out there that God is raising up. So look at that and don't forget that.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle, and welcome to the channel. And this is The Conservative Take. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any future content. And if you see why I'm smiling, it's because I am so excited to have this person on. As you know, I tend to get my emotions on my sleeve, and if I get too emotional, I apologize, but I'm really excited because this person here is one of the reasons why I started doing interviews to begin with, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But this is a recording artist, and I'll just let her tell you who she is, but her name is Rebekah Faidia, and she is here live with us, and I want to welcome you on the show. Rebekah, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I'm so excited to be doing this.
I am absolutely too.
Yeah.
So I want to just say quickly, just to kind of break the ice here. Do you remember how we found each other it was on Facebook, but do you remember exactly the circumstances behind that?
Yes, it was the Walk Away campaign. I believe. Yeah. So it was I gained so many friends, real friends from that. And then other people were friending me. So sometimes I forget if it was directly the Walk Away campaign, but it was the Walk Away campaign. And I remember one night I decided to write down my walk away story, and I posted it. And then the next morning I had so much love coming towards me. It was insane. And I was just I had just previously, a few days before, been bullied, internet bullies, but it was because of some Christian conservative opinion of mine that a lot of people don't like. And someone was putting me down. I remember I was feeling really down about that too, but I don't remember who exactly it was. I think I do actually. Yeah, this person was making fun of me. And, then I posted my walk away story, and it was just overwhelming amount of love that I felt. Yeah.
Yeah. That's unfortunate that people do that to people, especially who are coming into the red pill, to the moment where we actually discover that, I don't know, every person is different, and we'll talk about you in a little bit. But for me, I felt I was lied to, and to have people add salt to that wound, is really disrespectful. And I think what happened with you was, I think I was one of those people that came out and reached out and said, hey, this is what's going on. And I was just starting up this channel. It was called Suggs.com then. And I was starting up a walk away series to help people who were just walking away, to have some information, to have some, to go forward with what's going on. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember, and it was just feeling kind of, it's I felt that sense of brothers and sisters, because you are Christian, I think. And I remember feeling that, and I remember feeling that sense of real brothers and sisters for the first time in that Christian type of way, because I guess I didn't really the contrast showed me that I didn't really feel that when I was voting Democrat. I didn't feel that other Christians were necessarily my brothers and sisters. And maybe that's because I knew Christians who also are Democrats, or because I wasn't really aligned with God.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. That's exactly what I've been saying for a long time. I felt and many Christians feel the same way, that we voting for one side whose party is going further and further away from, in my opinion, and I'm just trying to be correct. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm just trying to be as, impartial.
They're going to get offended anyways.
They're going to get offended anyway. Yeah, they're going totally left, totally away from the Bible. And so we feel almost like you almost have to hold your nose to vote as a Democrat. So it's almost, to me, it was liberating to actually have a party that I can vote for, even though you may not agree with 100%, but the base core of it is pretty much something we agree with in terms of our spiritual and emotional sensibilities. Right,
exactly. Exactly. And it's just like, you don't have to overlook certain things, and, you don't have to, like, it's just horrible. Like, to me, I look back in disbelief, honestly, at some of the things I thought was acceptable. It shocks me now.
Yeah. So let me ask this question then. So for you, was it like an aha moment for you, or just something like you had someone that was kind of telling you or urging you, or something you read as a growing thing, or is it something that just happened like bam?
Well, it was something that grew, and I remember one thing. I don't remember that. There was one argument because I was like really anti-gun. And I remember like jumping into an internet argument somewhere, and I like said something that was anti-gun. And I don't remember it exactly, but I do remember that like I couldn't win the argument. And I realized for myself that I was just using like ad hominem attacks and stuff. And I was like, wait, I have this, but that, like this strong opinion, but then I realized I couldn't even articulate why. I remember that happening specifically with like the gun right issues. And all these people were like basically like winning me. They weren't even being necessarily kind, but they were just saying like, they were asking me straight up questions and I couldn't answer it. That was, before the election. I was like so confused.
So that was before 2016. That was before the.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You're a recent walk away, I would guess then, right?
Yeah, I am, because I was starting to walk away, but I did not vote for Donald Trump because I was still on the fence. But then later on that year, and when he won, I felt a sense of relief, even though I didn't vote for him. But I was like, okay, this is good. And then later on, it just became more and more obvious that I feel like that God placed him there for a purpose.
You know what? I haven't said that officially on this channel, but I will say that for the first time. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think the more we go through it, the more we see it. I may do a video to kind of do a timeline of what we saw, because there was no way Trump should have won this election. No way. I mean, things are happening, but he would make a comment about something, and then in the news, like a day later, something would confirm what he just said. We got reamed on a day before. Then in the day after, it was a shooting or something else happened across the border. Because maybe Trump was right, and it just constantly things that he couldn't possibly plan on his own. That was almost like providence, like they would say back in the late 18th century with our founding fathers and so forth. So, but I'm asking all these questions because I'm actually kind of cheating here a little bit. I'm trying to lead into your album.
Yes.
Because this all has a method to my madness. And so even though I want to talk about your walkaway story, and that's what's important about this channel, but I see it's almost, let me just back up a little bit, guys.
Okay.
So I didn't go to Rebekah immediately and get an interview because, number one, I wasn't set up to do this stuff yet. I didn't have the right tools, the right lighting. I didn't want her to be misrepresented in a bad way my first time out. I didn't want to use her as a guinea pig for my first time out. So no offense to other people that have come before me. This is all set up for this moment right here because I think right now I'm in a good spot. But anyway, the reason being is because we waited almost 2 years to do this, but looking back at your album now, it's I don't want to say prophetic because that's kind of, it can get misinterpreted, but it's almost as if you're writing history ahead of time. I'm looking at this stuff here, and I'm going to go through several of your songs, and I have a list here that I took notes on. I listened to the album 4 times today on a loop and was taking notes on your lyrics. And so I don't want to get too deep on some of this stuff because I want you guys to go out there and buy this album or support her on Spotify. But that's my segue. And I'm gonna try to shut up here, but let me just ask you first. The first thing I'm gonna ask you is, I'm gonna come back to this in a second though.
Okay.
Explain to me the title of your album, because I have my own thought to that, and it's called Weaves Dream into Life.
Yes. Yeah. So that is a lyric from the song We Are Not Afraid. And I felt that it was perfect because it took me so long to finally make an EP. And so that lyric fit. So it's like weave dreams into life. And that EP, what is a dream that I and others have woven into life.
Your album almost has a theme to me, at least it spoke to me, that it's a theme of overcoming pain. That's kind of the takeaway that I got from the album. Is that a fair assessment in terms of the overall scope of the album?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you picked up on it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the first song then. And if you don't mind, I want to just play a quick clip of this song. It's called Bride. Yeah. And I will leave that and we'll just listen to it and we'll come back after that.
Okay.
Wear the flowers in your hair, wear that dress in white. People stop and stare to see that sight, almost beautiful bride. Where are the tears you cried in the days when all you did was hide?
Okay, so that's the clip from Bride, and you can get this from Spotify. All the links will be in the comments below, and if Rebekah wants to tell you other places you can get it, she will provide that as well at some point. But for that particular song, Rebekah, it says here that the river, okay, is going down to the river. And this one lyric I wrote down here, it basically says that go to the river while you can. Is that what does that relate to anything spiritual, or what does the river symbolize in the song?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. It's very biblically influenced. And I said, go now while you can, because it's like you never know what happens in life. And yeah, the river is a symbol of like spiritual rebirth, baptism, God's kingdom, the living water, all those good things.
Yeah, and it talks about here about tears. You were hiding in your tears, or you had tears at one point and you were hiding from them, but now you're free from that. And you know, it was just really, really a good start off of the album, because
thank you.
To me, it's just the whole tone for the album, and the songs only get better from here. And I was thinking, well, that's a good song. You can't get much better than that. And then you get to Vinegar Tears. I'll get to that in a second, but the piano on Bride is phenomenal, because it really, I guess 2/3 of the way in, it breaks, and then the piano drives the rest of the song. I thought that was fabulous. Who is that? Was that your playing?
No, that is Kevin Sharp. So I'll have to give him a shout out. So Kevin Sharp, he did that. Yes.
Yeah, and you can provide him some links too. I'll give you his links to him as well, because the piano on this album is just phenomenal, and the way it's placed and the way it drives. It's just in there, man. It's in the pocket, it really is. And there's a Christian artist named Chris Rice that I grew up with in Maryland, and this song reminds me of his style of music. And it's just it's sort of folky, but it has a vibe of, in some areas, of reggae, African tones in it, especially with We're Not Afraid at the end of that, the chanting at the end of that. Yeah, it's just really, really phenomenal. I can go on for a long time on this, but so let's talk about Vinegar Tears. That's a good one as well. What is the meaning of that particular song?
Basically, it's just I think I reached into some feelings of bitterness, you know, and vinegar tears. Vinegar is really bitter and sour, and just how, you know, sometimes you cry and those tears are not sweet whatsoever.
Yeah, that's also a really good song too. It's a very mellow song. Yeah. So let me ask you. You mentioned the influence of the Bible and spirituality and Jesus and all of this. How did your spiritual Christian faith play in with your walk away, or did it come after, or it sounded like it came before?
Oh yeah, it was before. I mean, I've always been a Christian, and I don't know if I want to say that I was lukewarm, because I wasn't lukewarm, but I think I was confused and deceived. And we're always growing, so maybe I was just a little bit more unevolved, but it just came like when it wasn't that I was shown, like I feel like God was just revealing more of his truth to me, and then I was seeing how his values and morals are not aligned with the Democratic Party at all.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just like me maturing and then also having to accept it. You know, like not being like, well, it's not a big deal, because it is a big deal. It's a really big deal. Especially, I mean, we can see it even play out more this year. Everything's so clear.
Yeah, it's that's true. And I was just wondering, you know, with you for your music, let me just first say this: just your voice is amazing. Your voice is absolutely amazing. And I think I'd be totally remiss if I didn't say how talented you were, because, you know, the arrangement of the songs, but what really is the best part is your voice. And how long did you know that you could do that?
Since I was little. I remember I took my first voice lesson when I was 7 years old. And so since I was little, I was always planning and wanting to be a singer, but I just didn't know how. So yeah, forever, I guess. Yeah. Thank you.
My wife took voice lessons for a long time, and she'll probably see this. She will see this, but she's nowhere near your. So there's a God-given part of this. So
I think so for everyone. When you know you're good at something, that's a gift from God. There's no really other explanation for it.
And for the record, she sings better than I do, but my wife, that is, and you do, obviously. So cool. So yeah. So let me just ask you this. I mean, in terms of, okay, so you said, let me go back a little bit. You said, you know, you always kind of want to, you know, do an album or EP, which means extended play. Is that what that means?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you want to do that. And you said since 7 years old, you've been kind of doing this. You first of all, taking voice lessons at 7. So you've known before you were 7. You know, at some point you say, you don't just wake up and do voice lessons. You say, well, I can sing. I want to sing better. So maybe even earlier than that. So it's fair to say maybe your whole life you wanted to do this. So let me ask you this. How has it to right now where we are from 2018 to now we're 2020, where are you now in terms of that overall perspective and where you want to go forward? And is it coming, and what's it like? I mean, I probably didn't ask that very well.
No, yeah, I understand. So it's definitely been solidifying in my mind that I do want to be a singer, that I want to do that as like my life's work. You know, it's taken a while to get there. And then obviously for everyone, 2020 threw a wrench in people's plans. But I've also drawn inspiration from what has happened this year. And so the next EP will be inspired of a lot of things that are happening right now. So yeah, the journey has been, I guess, maybe a little bit slower, you know, but I mean, that's okay. Who knows what can happen? Any day is full of possibilities.
So. Especially with the internet. And I think you're in a space right now that no one really is playing in. You know, there's hip hop artists that do the Trump rap thing, but there's no one really that I know in this space. Maybe I'm just naive, of a soulful, spiritual, pro-conservative, but not in your face. You're not doing MAGA in your lyrics, right?
No, I mean,
is that a hashtag MAGA? No.
If he called me up and wanted me to make a song for him, I'd do it. But no, because I mean, my main message is my main message is my Christian faith, not the Christian faith that is first and foremost the big thing. Like, I'm not, like, I pay attention to what's going on, but I would not say that I'm the most politically savvy person.
Right. But we all, yeah. And so actually ask that question for you. What would your message be to your audience? And you just told me. And so, yeah, so this channel really is really trying to be the same thing. I mean, and unfortunately I get thrust into political stuff because you got to defend some of your positions. But because I have sort of a talk form, you kind of have to. But in your music, you don't have to do that. You can just say what you have to say. People look you up and say, "Oh, well, she's a conservative. Oh, wow!" And then they can make that conclusion themselves, or the Holy Spirit Himself can make that known to them in His own good time. So that's really.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing that I do want to. One thing that I just want to say is when I left the left completely, because I was always Christian. But when I left it completely, one thing that really opened my eyes is that it's okay to look and listen to different people from different sources. One thing that is just one of my biggest pet peeves with the left, especially right now, is their whole like fact checking and source thing. They say if they see that it's from a source that they don't like, they discredit it, and they think that one source is all-knowing truth no matter what. And so if you give them something and they're like, oh, this comes from a bad source, and I just want to tell people that, like, don't listen to those source obsessed people. Just do your own research and come to your own conclusion. Like, it's okay to think for yourself, and it's okay to come to your own conclusions. And that's why censorship is wrong. Censorship was one of the biggest tools in Nazi Germany. And so, yeah, if someone is censoring something, then you should probably listen to it. Because from what I've seen, they don't censor flat earthers. Okay, like flat earth people aren't censored. That's because almost no one is threatened by them.
Wow, that's that's awesome. I never thought about that. You're exactly right. And I'm glad you brought this up, because this is exactly why we're back on this call here, because, I think you had posted something and I saw that. I think you either came on my wall or I came on your page or whatever, dealing with this whole censoring thing. Yeah. And I think I responded in the comments, say, hey, you want to, talk about some of this? And we talked about this before, obviously. And you said, sure. And now we're here. This is like a week ago. So you know what? This is a slippery slope. So let me ask you this question. If they don't control censorship, what's going to stop them from censoring your music? That's a kind of a, it's not really a question, more or less, it's just a statement that.
If someone wants to actually, I'm not high profile yet. You know what I mean? If someone wants to actually censor my music at some point, like if I ever get that big, I'll take it as a badge of honor. And, God has a way, always. There's ways.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it as a hypothetical. What I was saying was more or less a situation of they were burning Bibles in Portland, right?
Yes, I saw that.
And so what I'm saying is that what's going to stop them from censoring you?
Right. No, it's true.
Anybody. And I guess I was just saying as an open statement that censorship needs to be stopped now, because it's going to eventually it's going to come down to artists like yourself. And you're just saying, well, did you mention God in your song? We got to cut that out. And that may seem crazy, but we also thought that what we're seeing today wouldn't be crazy either. So
I see what you're saying. Yeah, like they would.
Yeah,
they would. Yeah.
And so that's why I thought maybe it'd be strong for you to take an opinion on that, because obviously it could staunch your it could stunt your creativity going forward, and it's just not right, and who knows, Spotify could say, hey, we can't have Christian music on our channel anymore because Christians are what they deem them to be, what
right.
we're being portrayed as now, which is
right, exactly. Yeah, it's happening fast, and like Christians who don't see it need to wake up, because it's not even about politics or right versus left. It's basically a battle between good and evil. And if you think I'm crazy for saying that, then you've not been paying attention,
Exactly. And I kind of want to talk about the song Freedom, but can you talk about that song? What your thought was writing that song and the meaning of it?
Well, it's interesting because obviously I did not think anything that was going to happen in the future. I was writing it from the perspective of a person that is very self-absorbed and selfish, and basically lives a very destructive lifestyle. Someone who, dare I say, like, I think we all know those type of people.
Right,
like,
sure. Narcissists or, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And basically how they think that they're free when they don't have any consequences. And I was thinking from it, to be completely honest, more of a perspective of people who, like, cheat on their husbands or their wives, and people who don't care about, like, their children and how they're affected. Like, that's what I was thinking in my mind of when I wrote that song. But I was actually listening to it the other day, and I was like, it's kind of weird because I think songs have almost like a soul of their own, and how it felt really relevant to everything that's happening right now.
Yeah, if I ad-lib here a little bit, Bruce Springsteen's song "Born in the USA," which is one that I like to karaoke, is not about pro-America. It's like, you look at the lyrics, it's like, it's not about that. It's about, but it came out to be the most flag-waving song ever. So
right. I would not expect him to write a very pro-America song. So I kind of knew that it was, even though I didn't look at the lyrics, just because he made it. So,
I grew up in the 80s, and that was a big one. So, but Freedom, to me, listening to that now, I can see that, but it just seemed to me like just the title itself, that we have to fight for our freedom. And I don't know, I need to listen to the song again and kind of maybe think about your framework of it, because that's also important, because there are people who are so narcissistic that they just ignore their families, and they are mental abusers, they're physical abusers. Exactly. And that's something that needs to be dealt with in our society. Yes. Unfortunately, we can't talk about these kind of things because we have this foolishness going on right now. We can't talk about real issues.
No, I know.
But anyway, let's just hear a quick clip of Freedom real quickly. I'm going to play a quick clip of this. I'm going to play the main chorus. It's really a good song. I think it's my favorite songs on the album. Check this out here. It's called Freedom. So that was Freedom. That's a great song, has a great beat, and I play drums in the band. I think I gave you a clip of one of the bands I was in. We did, I did a video. I showed that to you. But as a percussionist, I was just beating on the desk while I was playing it, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." And I'm gonna record that and send it to you, see if you can use it.
Yeah, okay.
I don't need credit for it at all. Just it's really awesome. So, but on that note, I've seen some of your live performances too, and some of your live streams you do. Can you talk about some of that? What format you do that on, and where people can find that footage of you? Well,
pray that concerts and small, shows get back on their feet. So that happens more and more. I usually have like a live stream of when I'm performing on my Instagram page. I haven't done it on Facebook, but I would like to. And then I put up sometimes like a few live performances on my YouTube page. And everything is like private right now, but I'm going to make it public soon because of, the death threat that I got. That scared me. But soon I'll be public again. It just shook me up a little bit. So.
Yeah, well, that's very unfortunate. So, we'll just leave that where it is.
Yeah,
I'll talk about that with you off camera here.
Yeah.
But but let me just say this for those who haven't seen any footage of Rebekah, she is phenomenal. I mean, the thing is, it's one thing to be able to sing. Like Whitney Houston could sing, okay, obviously one of the best ever. But her stage performance was, it's okay. It's okay, But Rebekah you have a feeling about yourself and a flow, and you're really, I think the way you present your songs through your emotions and through your movements, and just people feel the lyrics in what. Because I was watching live stream one time, I had to stop the car because I was actually driving it, whatever, and I was like, I probably shouldn't have been doing that. I was like, I can't watch this because this is like so captivating. Uh-huh. And so when you get on the stage, what goes through your mind? Do you think about any of that stuff, or is it just something that you just? Because sometimes performers, it's all like scripted. I'm gonna do this for this and this and this, but for you, it just seemed like it was just totally natural in the moment.
Yeah, there's no script. Sometimes I think I should work on that a little bit, but the main thing that I think is this is my opportunity right now. Like this is where God is placing me, and he's giving me this platform, whether it's an audience of one or however many, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, this is your chance. That's what I think. That's what I feel.
I think that comes across. I think that comes across to the viewer, especially. And I was just really, really enjoying that. And so I'm following you for the past couple of years. It's been really, really inspiring. And I'll tell you, I know how difficult it is to be in this space, music, entertainment. I have a buddy of mine who's an actor who's been working so many years, and he's just now, after maybe 15, 20 years, he's finally now getting these Netflix roles and roles in like Hollywood roles. And so it just takes a long time sometimes to get that. And I see him now to where you're going to be. And I'm just really excited for you and what's going on with you. And so let me just ask you a few more questions here. I want to just talk about the song Bioluminescence.
Mm-hmm. That's a really Bioluminescence. Yep.
Bioluminescence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to talk about that because there's some scientific stuff going on there. And there's some lyrics there. I want to kind of have you talk about that. And I want to just first say the first thing I wrote on that song was fun. Because when you first hear it comes across, you hear it's just really, really kind of have a reggae vibe to it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's got an off-tempo thing going with the beat. So can you talk about that song?
Yeah. So Bioluminescence, I was inspired by coming across, I think it was like jellyfish or something like that, and just different sea creatures that are luminescent by themselves. They shine without they shine from within, literally, not like in an emotional way. And I just thought that was so cool, and that inspired me to write about a song about just different people that I know that have that light that shines from within them. And and it's just learning about these sea creatures that are bioluminescent because they're at the bottom of the ocean, and there's no light that can reach that low. And that just made me think of people that are surrounded by darkness, and they've gone through so much that they develop their own spiritual survival of making light from within.
and there goes back to the theme of overcoming pain.
Yes.
And see the stirring the memories at glowing down inside the bottom of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I just because like I saw the title of it like several times for years, literally. It wasn't just today before I finally clicked and I said, you know what, she's talking about. That's a scientific thing she's talking about. That's a real thing, and then she's tying that in with. I was just wow, I gotta talk to her about that one. So let's play a clip of this song right here. It's called Bioluminescence.
Look at you, darling. He's shining from the inner side. Look at you, darling. You're glowing from the inner side. You're illuminated, luminescent. You're a
So we're back, and that was really, really creative. Do you have a story of how was it something you just came up with immediately, or something you read in National Geographic, or what actually?
I probably saw it on Instagram or something like that, and I thought that was so. And like, I read a quote a while ago, and it never left me. It was John Piper, and he said something about that nature is God's second book.
Wow.
And that if you look at nature, you can learn about God and, you know, his attributes, his characteristics, and the way that things work in his universe. And that quote was in my mind, because you can look at anything in nature and you can learn about God.
Yep. I think it's Romans 1. I think it says basically you're without excuse. Looking at creation, you just look at a leaf and say, "Hey."
Right. Exactly.
Yep. So, and that goes back to what I was saying about Chris Rice. Chris Rice is he's a deep thinker in terms of his thinking, and you're a deep thinker as well. To come up with that sort of paradigm and then put it into lyrics, and then it's just really, really fantastic. I can't wait to see your next EP. I'm going to be all over that one. So. Okay, so Rebekah, my question for you is this: is for me when I get online and I get to do a video or I want to do something for somebody, I'm constantly getting bombarded. I'm constantly being bombarded. Thank you, with negative news. Doing research from areas that I don't normally go, like MSNBC or CNN, and it's a constant thing, night and day, because I'm doing this channel, and so people tell me this all the time. But for you, your music, and particularly this EP, is very inspiring because it leads me down a narrative path of hope, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I can't be the only person feeling this way. So what would you say to people like me who listen to your music, who feel like we're being, you know, kicked to the curb constantly and down emotionally and sometimes even spiritually?
Yeah. Like I said, just dig your heels in and roll up your sleeves and put on the full armor of God, like the Bible says, you know, and that means getting his word and nourishing yourself with good news and hope. And also don't forget that there are so many people that are waking up right now. And there's so many people that are working for good. And if you look at the news, Satan wants you to think that he's winning, but it's a lie. It's an illusion. Yes, there are evil things happening, but there are a lot of good things happening. And there's a lot of warriors out there that God is raising up. So look at that and don't forget that. It's the good is winning more than just don't listen to him. Don't listen to Satan and what he has to say. He's a loser. Satan is a loser.
Well, that's true. And thank you so much for that. And it's a very encouraging word. And hopefully that was beneficial to not only myself, which it was, but to other people as well. So thank you. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you another question here. So in terms of your excitement level of what's going on in your life, what excites you right now the most?
So I gave birth. I think you saw that 2 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's pretty exciting. Like seeing, his first smile. That was probably like one of the most exciting things that I've seen. Right now, I'm actually really excited to meet all of these like different people that are like-minded, and to, watching people turning to Jesus Christ in ways that I have not seen before. And I think that is just so exciting, and rebuilding and like making a future, for like the kingdom, basically. And I just think it's so exciting to see. And I see it happening amidst so much fear and destruction. And for me, that's what's most exciting.
That's awesome. I think God does his best work when things look the worst, especially
Exactly.
from our perspective, because ultimately he's the one that gets the glory for it, because only he can make it happen out of that,
Exactly.
Otherwise we try to take credit for it. So,
yeah.
So awesome. So your EP, do you have any idea when that's going to launch, or have how far along are you on that? Or
Well, there's 2 songs right now that I'm debating on which one I should release next, but those are almost ready. So I'm going to release one of those before the EP, and I hope the EP can be done by the fall. That's what I'm hoping. But yeah, there's 2 songs right now that are about to be released.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. And everyone in this, on this who sees this, I would encourage you. I know this may not be your style of music. You may be into whatever you're into, but I think this music transcends genres. It transcends anything, because it gets deep into the spiritualness of man and women. It deals with people and their pain and overcoming that pain. It goes to the spirit of hope. And the last song is We're Not Afraid, I think ties the whole thing up like a bow. And I just think this album is going to be played over and over again with me, because I just want to keep hearing it, because I keep getting more and more stuff out of it, because I think your level of intelligence and your sensibilities with the use of the arrangements, with the piano and the beats also I can't not say this, the voiceovers, or the background singing is done in a really, really good way as well. I think that's done. Do you do your own backups on those, or?
Yes. Yeah. There's like a couple songs that I haven't done, but that's like sample clips. But yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really well done. So,
thank you.
So I just really enjoy. I'm honored to have you on the show, Rebekah, and I was just wondering, is there anything you want to say to the audience, or how can they reach you, or how can they find your music?
Yes. So Rebekah Faidia. So it's the same on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and my website, RebekahFaidia.net. And I'm also always open to personal messages. I like to pray for people, if they have any questions about anything, I can at least direct them to good sources. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Oh, well, the pleasure's all on this side here. So I think it's very, very admirable, and it's very, very indicative of what I feel your heart is like. The fact that you're willing to do that. And most recording artists, no matter what level, they're more about, they want to help people, but they don't really want to get in the sand and dirt themselves and actually do some of that legwork. And I really find that very commendable. And I enjoy seeing. We're friends, obviously, on some of these medias, and I enjoy watching your life as it's progressing, and your music, and your family, of course. So,
thank you.
So I'm going to put all the links to everything she just mentioned, and the titling will be below. And would you be willing to come back to do a launch party when you do your launch in whenever that does come out?
I would love to. I don't want exclusivity. I just want to be. It can be week after, week before, whenever you can do it. So Yeah.
I'd love to let the audience know when they can, when they can actually talk about the album and get it. And is this pay for play, or is it just Spotify, or is there any other means to get the album?
Yeah. So it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on Apple Music, it's on YouTube. It's basically on all digital distribution.
Okay. I'll make sure I put links there as well. So you may have to help me there. You may have to send me some email with all that stuff so I can just put it in there for you. But if I can't find it, I'll just rely on your email to do that.
And there's a couple people, I think there's a couple people that wanted like a hard copy CD. I haven't done that yet. Or if they want a vinyl or something like that, let me know. I haven't done that yet, but I was supposed to do that. I just remembered. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, vinyl would be cool. That's really good, especially times. We have upstairs. My son loves to play with.
I love vinyl.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, well, cool. It's, if that's all we have, then is there anything else you had to say, or is that going to be?
Thank you so much for interviewing me, and I'm really honored that you wanted to have me on your show.
Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely. And again, everybody, one more time, go support Rebekah Faidia. And she is a recording artist. She's a Christian, walk-away movement. She supports the Trump agenda. She supports, most importantly, the living God. And that's the most important thing. And that's what I feel is going to get her to the next level more than anything else, because God's going to be the one that's going to see this, make sure it's done the right and proper way, and in this timely fashion. So, but as this market explodes, this market right here, I think you're going to be at the forefront of that.
Thank you.
So thank you so much again for coming on to The Conservative Take. And if this is your first time here, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and that bell icon. Please also share with your friends, because we're reaching 10,000 subscribers and we want to do that. And if you also want to support this channel, please go to walkedaway.net and make it known when you walked away. And so with that, please check out some content that we have right here.